in no way is this to disrespect any uh, community of the Amish people or anything. This is something that happened, you know.
Yo,
Hey, it
yo,
is what
yo,
it
what's goody,
is.
goody, goody, y'all? It's your boy Remo, and I'm back with another V show. And in this video, I want to talk about the time I banged this Amish chick. I'm gonna make it real quick, y'all. I was in Job Corps, and I was way out in the country. You know, most Job Corps are way out in the boondocks, and I'm not gonna say the name of the Job Corps facility, but it was in a rural area near an Amish community. Now back then I was 19. I didn't know what the hell Amish was. I didn't know. You know what I mean? When I first saw them, I thought they were some pilgrims. I thought they were dressed up for Halloween because it was around Halloween. It was like in the fall time. You know, it was late October, and I thought they were just dressed up as pilgrims. I was like, oh, those some cool costumes, and the women had on bonnets and stuff, and I didn't know anything about the Amish community. I was ignorant to that. 19 years old, never had really been out of the city like that, and here I am in a rural community up in Job Corps. We wasn't supposed to leave the Job Corps facility, but one of my homeboys who worked in the auto body shop had got a hold of some bike parts, and he built a bike from scratch, and he used to let us ride it every now and then. You know what I mean? And we would have to pay him, like give him cigarettes or whatever. You know, I give him a pack of cigarettes and let me ride it for a day. I would ride it to the farmers market. They had a farmers market, like, you know, maybe like 2 miles away from the Job Corps Center. You know, so I would go up there and get like bread and, you know, peanut butter, fruits, vegetables, so I could sell it on my dorm. I was hustling. You know, I was selling peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and, you know, all types of stuff, whatever. You name it, I was selling it. Cigarettes, you know, I was hustling. But anyway, I used to go to this farmer's market, and I used to buy pastries from this pretty white chick, you know what I mean? And this is the one that turned out to be Amish. I'm not going to say her name. You know, I just liked the way she was dressed. It looked like she was dressed, you know, for some reason I thought, I don't know, the way she was dressed with the bonnet on and stuff, I thought she was dressed like that just for the farmer's market. Like I told you, it was around Halloween. To me, it looked sexy. You know, she was kind of chunky. She was thick. You know, this was a thick white chick. Or I'm sorry, thick Amish chick. She had flawless skin. And I just thought she was sexy. So I just started talking to her. And I noticed she spoke with a lot of these and thous. You know, I thought maybe that's just how they talked in that area. You know what I mean? In that community. I thought people, you know, talk that way. You know, like I said, I'm a city guy going to this rural country community, and I didn't know people talk like that anyway. You know, me and her started talking, and come to find out, she had never really conversed with a black man like that, you know. So, you know, I used to go see her every Saturday. One Saturday, she told me she opened up at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay. I usually get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, because Job Corps, you got to get up early. But on the weekends, you know, you just chill. You know what I mean? You get up early. You know, you ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to go to work or school or whatever. So she told me to start meeting her early to help her set up. I said, okay. So I would get down there, and she would be with these other girls setting up. I had no idea Amish women wasn't supposed to be talking to men. Especially black men, you know. But people used to look at me funny. White people would walk by me and look at me funny. I would smile and say hi. They wouldn't say hi back. They would look at me and look at her. So I asked her, I said, why are these people looking at me like that? She said, oh, probably because dying are a black man. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm used to that. So after about 3 weeks, you know, we became real cool, you know. One thing led to another. She told me to meet her at 5:30. I get there at 4:30, and the next thing you know, I'm hitting it behind one of those sheds. They had like these sheds at the farmers market where you could stand under and sell your goods. It was like a grove, you know. It was like a grove, and it had like a bunch of trucks behind these groves. Next thing you know, I was hitting it from the back behind one of those trucks, and this went on this went on for weeks. And then after a while, the bike started breaking down, and then it started snowing real bad. So I was messed up. I couldn't see her for a while. So one day it wasn't snowing too bad, and I walked from the job course. I snuck away and walked up there to go see her. And it was a long walk. Walking by myself, it could have been dangerous. You know what I mean? Somebody could have looked at me like I was a criminal or something and did something to me. But I was young. I didn't care. So I walked up there to go see her. And she was asking me, where you been? Where you been? I said, hey, the bike broke down. It's been snowing. I'm sorry I couldn't come see you. And, I missed you. The sex was good. And she had told me that she was pregnant. I was like, oh. And she wanted me to talk to her father, and her father, her brothers, her uncles, it seemed like damn near the whole community surrounded my ass. They looked like the children of the cornfield by the way they was dressed. and they asked me, was I going to marry her daughter? Marry their daughter? I'm like, nah, I ain't about to do all that. I said, no, we just friends. And they was looking at me mean. I'm telling you, these motherfuckers look like the children of the cornfield. And I was like, nah, I ain't about to marry. I went up to the job. I told her, I told her father, I said, I go to Job Corps. I said, I'm trying to do something with my life. They was like, no, you're going to marry my daughter. And thee or thou is going to marry my daughter. Ding, die, ding, that. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So they went up there and talked to the Job Corps administration. And they told me basically I had to leave. They was trying to make me leave that day. The administration told me I had to leave. I said, what the fuck did I do? I said, I didn't violate any. Well, you left the property. So what they ended up doing was suspending my ass. They could have terminated me. They was trying to make me leave, but I didn't want to leave because I was halfway done. So they suspended my ass for going AWOL, leaving the property or some bullshit. So I couldn't do nothing for like 30 days. And so after about 30 days, I was halfway done. Like I had already been there for 6 months. I got my CDL and I got my, certificate or whatever, So I was out of there. So I still had, I could have stayed longer, but after all that went down with the Amish chick getting pregnant, I mean, this chick was thick. After that, I ain't want no parts of Job Corps no more. So for any friends or family who's watching this and wondering why I only stayed 6 months in Job Corps, this is the reason why. I could have stayed up to 2 years, but I got out of there after 6 months. and here's the kicker. Years and years later, I got in contact with this Amish chick. They shunned her from the community after that. You know what I mean? As I got older, I realized that, Amish people, they're rural people. They don't have no contact with anything modern. They stick to each other. And I was 19. The girl was 23. They shunned her from the community. And years later, I found out that there was a documentary called Shunned. It's about the Amish community. And one of the girls that used to help the chick I was banging at the farmer's market, she was in it. I'm not gonna say her name. She was in it. Now, the one that I got pregnant, they moved to Missouri somewhere. It's an Amish community in Missouri. And she left the community for a number of years. And after a while, they let her back in. After like 10, 15 years, she repented, and they let her back in. And before they let her back in the community, maybe like around 2010, 2009, me and her was friends on Facebook for a long time. And her friend who got shunned, she's not with the community no more. Me and her still communicate on Facebook or whatever. And here on YouTube, she might be watching this video. But I had no idea about the Amish community. And yes, I got a half black Amish kid running around somewhere in Missouri that the mother want to keep in the Amish community so she don't have no contact with the outside world. She don't want the daughter to make the same mistake she made, so to speak. But yeah, it was crazy, you know what I mean? But she was young, I was young. She was older than me, but we was still young. You know what I mean? And, hey, shit happens. But in no way is this to disrespect any community of the Amish people or anything. This is something that happened. Hey, it is what it is. But yeah, it was a documentary called Shunned. I think it might be on YouTube. I remember watching it back in the days on PBS. And hey, it is what it is. My bad. Stuff happens. All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all another time in another video. All right, 100.